Good morning, Vietnam! Alright, let's get this started. I'm SmartFire87 from 9 to 5 Gaming, and here I am with another rant. Happy New Year, everybody. It's been a while since my last one. I don't know why. I guess I was busy with some stuff, but let's get it started. Alright, I got myself for Christmas Neo Geo X Gold Limited Edition handheld console. Now, this handheld console is great, right? Basically, the Neo Geo X is a replication of the old Neo Geo arcade system, the AES, I think, and it was going for $200 up on Amazon. So basically, what the system is all about is that it comes with a handheld and a joystick and a mock-up of the original console itself, where you dock the handheld and it outputs to your television screen through HDMI or AV cables, and you can use the joystick or controller, whatever you want to have, whatever you call it, attached to the mock-up console. And you can play it on your big screen. So it's pretty cool stuff, and it's a novelty item, I would say, at best. And it's for people who either grew up with the Neo Geo systems or they are collectors like myself. I didn't have that growing up. So I digress. Let me continue. So the whole point of this is that it's a novelty. It's great. I'm looking at it right now. It's sleek, it's black, it's whatever. But this got me thinking. It got me thinking about handheld gaming in general. I mean, if you go to big events like Comic-Con or you're out in the wild somewhere and you see a handheld, it's like, oh, or a person playing a handheld, you're like, oh, that's pretty cool, but you don't really see them that often. What do you see instead? You'll see a person mostly playing Angry Birds or Cut the Rope on their mobile device, say their Samsung Galaxy or their iPad or iTouch. That's what you most likely see nowadays. And this is a interesting observation because you have systems like the Sony Vita or the PlayStation Vita, sorry, and they're being shunned and turned aside for these mobile devices. Now, what does this mean? It doesn't mean the consoles are bad in and of itself. Even though the Vita does have its problems, I swear to God, I have one. I bought one. Uh, Actually, I got the special Amazon bundle that dropped a week before the actual release of the PlayStation Vita, and that's how excited I was, and that's how hyped I was. And since then, I haven't really played my Vita. I mean, I picked up Persona 4, the Golden, and I picked up Gravity Rush. I have Uncharted. I played the games that you're supposed to play, and they're okay at best. I recently picked up Earth Defense Force 2017, which is a port of the 360 game Earth Defense Force 2017. And instead, they added online player and online versus and online co-op, and it's great. It's exciting. It's fun, but it's a port. There aren't really any standout games on the Vita that I can go to somebody and say, hey, you need to pick up a Vita for blah. Okay. I also own a Nintendo 3DS. Now, the little story behind that is that I own a 3DS and a 3DS LL, which is the Japanese version of the 3DS XL, the extra bigger one, blah 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 blah. And I use that more than I use my Vita actually, because there are games on it that I actually want to play a lot more. As much as I love my Vita, don't get me wrong. Um, but this kind of puts into perspective the whole Vita problem. It has the proprietary memory card. The games are so-so, and the ones that are coming in are mostly ports. Of course, we have some games coming out this year like Phantasy Star Online 2 and Soul Sacrifice that are interesting, but that's like two. And we just started 2013, so hopefully they'll announce more or we'll see more. The Japanese are getting a whole bunch of games, good for them, but on the American side, things are looking kind of flat and stale for the Vita. I'm a little worried because this brings me back to my main topic of the advent of mobile gaming. Now, I know some of you out there scoff at the thought of playing games on your iPad or iPhone or whatever touchscreen you have out there. But trust me, some of these games, I'm pretty sure you know, work. I mean, the tower defense games work. There are a couple RPGs that work. Emulation's a little iffy because you can't really play your platformers that well, but your strategy games like Fire Emblem work amazingly on touchscreen because you don't really have to do a whole bunch of tapping and all that stuff. But I digress again. The thing is that mobile gaming is taking over. It's becoming more and more relevant. Nintendo and Sony need to look at their strategy. Um, you can't be pricing your proprietary memory cards at $60 a pop for what you can get 10 times more for an SD card. I get they were trying to use the new proprietary memory cards for the Vita to curb piracy, which is a big problem on the PlayStation Portable. But you can't shaft that your customer in this day and age. When your customer can just go and play another device, either the 3DS or just buy games on their iPod or iPad. Uh, we all of us as gamers, we've kind of been adverse to change, at least from what I can tell. We don't like new things that pop up. We don't like the thought that what we used to like is now not so much the norm and now being marginalized, if that makes any sense to some of you out there. How can I say this? Okay, here's an excellent example. When the Wii was first announced, with its motion controls, as pitiful as they were, people were like, it's gonna fail. It's not gonna go anywhere. It's not gonna be anything. It's a joke. My favorite. Nintendo's finished. Haha, Nintendo's finished. And lo and behold, it becomes the top-selling system out of all three consoles this past generation. Nintendo DS was announced. Touchscreen. Oh man, who wants touchscreen? What? I don't want to be touching my screen in the game. Blah 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 blah. Goes on to be the top-selling handheld of all time. We're adverse to change. And the more we turn a blind eye to what could be on the horizon, the more we look like idiots down the road. Mobile games become more and more prevalent. Are playing on their iPads. They're playing on their Android devices. They're paying $2.99 to play games that will last them hours. They can quickly just turn on, blah blah blah, put back, and they're done with. Or they can go back to it at any moment. Angry Birds. Everyone loves Angry Birds. It's all over the place now. I think they're making a movie. Who cares? But you get the point. Like, it's just taken off. It's becoming relevant. Now you want to be like, oh, it's just the plebs. The plebs are the ones playing on that. They don't want. I'm hardcore, baby. I don't want to be playing Angry Birds. Okay, let me give you an example. We're now seeing Namco, Capcom, Square Enix dropping titles on the iPads, iTouches, Android devices. More so the iOS devices than the Android devices. Like a couple months ago, I bought Final Fantasy Tactics on my iPad. I have Chrono Trigger on my iPad. You could buy Final Fantasy 4. They put the remade version of Final Fantasy 4 that was on the DS on the iPad recently. Publishers and developers are now taking mobile platforms seriously. They're putting their products out there. Representative of Nintendo said that they wouldn't go that route, but I can see like down the road when they realize how profitable it is to get that extra oomph or extra cash money from the mobile market, they'll start rethinking their business plan. Which brings me to my point that times are changing, people. New devices are coming out. Valve just recently announced the Steam Box. What's the Steam Box, Rex? Oh, SmartFire 87. What's the Steam Box? I'll tell you what the Steam Box is. So it's a mid-range PC for your living room, but it's intruding on the console space. What do I mean by intruding? There's always been a separation between PC gaming and console gaming. Gabe Newell, and his company Valve are now making a play for that very same console space that holds your 360, your PlayStation 3, and your Nintendo Wii U. This is changing things up. This could potentially change things up. Now, to a lot of you out there who are hardcore PC gamers, you're like, SmartFire 87, forget you. I've been playing on my big TV screen for ages. Well, good for you, PC gamer. But get this, the regular Joe Schmo doesn't do that. Alright, he most likely has his Nintendo Wii U hooked up, or his PlayStation 3 hooked up, or his 360 hooked up to the TV. Now that Valve introduces their new Steam Box, this means that they can now open themselves up to Steam services. What does that mean? What's that mean, SmartFire 87? Look at this. Everyone knows that when Steam throws up those sales, people go crazy. Now imagine being able to buy Far Cry 3, which would cost $60 on your 360, for $40 or $30, $20 on your Steam box. Valve's making a play for the console space, and this can be a big change. Console manufacturers, console developers, the publishers themselves will have to rethink the console space because now you're going up against a mid-range PC in the consumer living room. We have the announcement of the Ouya, which is basically an Android-based gaming platform. Wow, what's the Ouya SmartFire 87? I'll tell you. Like I said before, it's an open source Android game console that's being released sometime later this year. The dev kits have already been out for a month or so. They started making games for it already. The space is changing, ladies and gentlemen. It's no longer what we thought it would be. We've been this past console cycle for the past 6-7 years, I think. I mean, I think the 360's been maxed out at what it can do at this point, and the PS3 still has a little bit more that can be squeezed out of it. But we're hearing rumors of the Orbis and the Xbox 720 and the Orbis. What's this? This is what really pisses me off because now Sony they've been making mistake after mistake after mistake with the Vita, with the PlayStation 3, and now I'm hearing that with the PlayStation 4 or Orbis, whatever it's called, that they want to have a chip in that reads if your disc has been used. What? Some of my games in my collection are not entirely new. I've bought them used games. It's just cheaper. I mean, seriously, it's cheaper. But now you're gonna make it to the point that I can't buy a used game if I want. What if I want to go to my buddy's house who's gonna have a multiplayer game? All of us have to have the same copy now? Is that what's gonna happen? Really, Sony? Listen, man, they need to clear up their act. The Vita, and they had the Vita. The Vita's not doing too well. The PlayStation 3 is hitting its stride finally. I mean, after that rumor, I hope that rumor is false, but apparently there's some truth to it, and I hope that they revise that idea and they get rid of it right away because if you're gonna like tell me what I can and can't buy for my system, we're gonna have a problem, and I'm gonna vote with my wallet and not buy your latest system. Of course, besides that rumor, we have the mobile gaming taking off. We have the Ouya, the Steam Box. We have the 3DS is doing really well. This is what kills me because when you talk to someone if you go to boards, especially if you go to boards, they're like, yo, give the Vita some time. The 3DS messed up within the first couple months and it wasn't selling too well. That's correct, ladies and gentlemen. But the thing is, Nintendo took corrective steps to fix the problem with the 3DS by dropping the price, the ambassador program, and by basically just pushing for more games on their system. Look, they now have Monster Hunter. In March, we're getting Monster Hunter Monster Hunter Ultimate for the Wii U and the 3DS. Monster Hunter was a huge staple for Sony. They lost it. Alright? I can't even really name big games that are coming up besides for the Vita, besides maybe Phantasy Star Online 2 and Soul Sacrifice, which is like a Monster Hunter, I don't want to say it's a clone, but Monster Hunter-esque. And there's God Eater Burst 2. Okay. But really, one of the hardest hitting sales grabbing games was Monster Hunter for the PlayStation Portable. Monster Hunter. And Monster Hunter 4 is going to 3DS. I don't know what's going on over at Sony headquarters, but they need to get this shit together if they want the Vita to succeed, because I want the Vita to succeed. I spent a mad amount of money on that system, and I want to see games that I want to play on it. Gravity Rush was okay. It's not good enough for me. I want more. I want something substantial, something that I can go like to my friends. Hey, look, there it is. There's that game for the Vita that you must play. All right, take it easy. Besides that, again, change is upon us. Things are now different. Steambox, Ouya, Vita not doing too well. Mobile gaming changing. It's no longer 1998, people. You can't just subsist on Pokemon alone. Something's got to give. Hopefully, the console developers will look at the changing landscape and be smart about it. And hopefully, things will be more exciting and more profitable for us, the gamer. So anyway, thank you for listening to my rant. Thank you for listening to me talk for the past like 15 or so minutes. And hey, hopefully I can have good news next time I rant, but time will tell. Thank you. Have a great night or day. Bye.